Well, I'm Ray, so let me paint a picture for you. You're 5 years old, and you ask your parent to let you watch an anime that they watch all the time. Excitedly, they say yes, happy that their child seems to be interested in the same thing they are. You put the DVD of this 90s anime in, and you enjoy it until he pops into frame. Who is he? He makes you uncomfortable because he's continuously essaying minors and never really faces permanent consequences, and sometimes he even gets sympathy when his essaying ways don't get fulfilled. Even as a child who does not fully understand the world, is confused and wonders, who is this character for? Years later, you reflect on this character and realize that he's not the only type of character like this. He is a part of an archetype called comedic relief pervert. Now, I see this topic discussed on forums and Twitter threads, but I don't really see a lot of serious videos on it. Probably because he can be summed up easily to
yucky, gross, bye, ew.
But I want to delve deeper into the subject matter. Now, if you're like me, I'm very impatient at times, so there will be chapters so you can skip to the parts you would like. Which reminds me, if you want the general outcome of this video, skip to the conclusions chapter. So without further ado, let's talk. First things first, I think it would be wise to define what I mean by pervert. While that seems excessive, it is actually more important than you think, more important than what I thought. The English language can be very subjective and nuanced, so it's important to distinguish what we are talking about when I say pervert. First, let's look at what pervert means to Google. Pervert, a person whose sexual behavior is regarded as abnormal and or unacceptable. Based on this description of a pervert, there are way too many things we can all think of. That is because what everyone thinks is sexually abnormal or unacceptable behavior is subjective. I mean, some people could think that being sexually active is perverted, or BDSM is perverted. Heck, some people think that flirting a lot is perverted. So it can be very hard to tell what fits into the pervert category when what is considered perverted can be subjective. So for the sake of this video, here is my definition of a pervert for this specific topic. A pervert, in my opinion, is someone who takes it too far. Someone who constantly invades the privacy of others and either gets close to or does essay another person. This is important to distinguish because, again, everyone has their own meaning of the word.
You're an asshole. You're being a fucking prick, okay? You're ugly. You're an ugly guy. I would never, ever have sex with you. Even if I had to just kiss you to save the lives of every single person on this planet, I'd let everybody go fucking dead.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way. OMFG, I hate Mineta! Yeah, no one likes him. However, what I found strange when I first saw this hate is, where's all the hate for the other comedic relief perverts? Or CRP, because I'm not typing or saying that over and over again. So I did a little bit of digging and compiled a few reasons why he's the most hated CRP in the anime history, so we can use him as a reference. Number 1, popularity. The NHA is an incredibly popular anime, so much so that non-anime watchers watch it. Now, I saw one suggestion, unfortunately I cannot find it, but they said the reason they think he is so hated is because of the non-anime watchers. They're not used to the trope like the anime regulars. Which is probably a factor, but also it's a boring reason and not the point of this video. Some recurring points were his design. His design is weird, to say the least, and it adds to the discomfort of his character. But that's also not the point of this video. The third thing on my list is, drumroll please, they make it his personality traits. The most recurring complaint about his character was that he has no depth to him. His only personality trait is that he is constantly trying to invade the privacy of his classmates and is just a general pervert. This makes it hard to relate to him, and at the very least makes it hard to humanize him. Also, if you relate to Mineta, my friend has some words for you. It's hard to feel for this character when their only contribution to the show is to be discussing and aid the writers in showing underage tits for fan service. All you want is for them to get off screen and out of the story so you don't have to waste 3 minutes of the overall episode on them trying to look at a bunch of unaware naked girls when those 3 minutes could be used to do literally anything else. I opened up talking about this character not only because he's someone most people know about, but also because he's a perfect example of
you are dumb, unattractive, overweight, unworthy, untalented.
CRPs are not a new trope. Anime consumers know this. I don't really know how far this trope dates back, and it's not even an anime-only thing, but I do know it was definitely in the 80s. The problem with CRPs is very blatant, especially to an AFAB audience. AFAB being a female at birth. The first time I recognized this pattern, I realized they wanted the pervert to be endearing and, comedic when they do certain things. To my initial response was, that's not possible. Essay isn't funny. Invasion of privacy isn't funny. It will never be funny. Watching a character do these things is uncomfortable to say the least and disturbing to do the most. Therefore, every time you see this character do these things, it makes you grow resentment towards that character. And in this trope, they like to be like, oh, no, it's okay that this happens because they get hit at the end and their plan fails. And to that I say, no, because we prefer not to watch them do this in the first place, and their plans being thwarted and or punished does not make it okay. Honestly, I think whether it was the writer's intentions or not, these types of characters make light of essay. Because we are watching for the point of view of the perv, it is for some reason painted as this funny struggle of trying to get something they want and never getting it in the long run. That kind of humor is funny when the squirrel from the Ice Age is longing to be able to keep and eat his acorn for once, but it's not funny when it refers to longing to harm or violate another human being. Now, a character doing those things is already bad. The reason this trope is executed so horribly is because the writers for some reason think, yes, let's make this character try to do terrible things to people, and it's the only thing they come on screen to do. I quite literally cannot tell you anything else about Mineta other than what he physically looks like, and he's a disgusting major creep. Whenever you see these characters on screen, and their only personality trait is the fact that they are pervs, then you tense up. You tense up because you are wondering what they're going to do next. Who is their potential victim this time?
No. Well,
Yes and no. I went to this thinking I wouldn't be able to make this a video. I legitimately thought it was just going to be
Yucky.
and then I would be done. But then I looked at the opinions of multiple others and realized, oh, there's a little more nuance to this than I thought. Now, I'm going to introduce you to 3 characters. One is a textbook example of a bad CRP, the second is a moderately good one, and the third is Netsu. When it comes to writing a bad CRP, the traits are similar. Usually they essay someone or peep on others without consent or them knowing. And they have no other depth. They're quite literally the punchline. They have no other personality trait other than I'm a pervert. Character number 1's name is Haposai. He is a character from the 1989 Rama 1/2. He is hands down the worst CRP I've seen. Worse than Mineta. You may say, that's impossible. And if you think that, my friend, you're so naive. That just tells me you clearly underestimate the late 80s, early 90s, because, oh my friend, there is so much worse than Mineta. Just like Mineta, Haposai is a character that doesn't really have any other personality trait other than I'm a pervert. However, he is so much worse. He sexually assaulted minors numerous times. Like it's something they show in passing to establish that he's probably going to be the main focus of the episode, or just to establish that he's even there. He constantly steals underwear and bras of the women in their neighborhood, and even steals the bras and underwear of his own family members, quote unquote, because they're not really blood related to him, but they call him grandfather because he's like a mentor to their dads, and he constantly gropes people. And the worst offenses is done to the main character, Rama. If you haven't watched or heard of this anime, then let me explain. Rama turns to a girl in cold water and back into a dude in hot water, and I think you can see where I'm going with this. And there's a scene that has been ingrained in my brain somewhere out there, because I'm not scouring the internet for this cursed scene that I never want to see again, is a scene of this man licking his boobs. So, I don't think Mineta has done that. So correct me if I'm wrong. Don't. I'm kidding. I don't want to know if and when that happens. I already hate him. Again, he faces no permanent consequences or anything. And I'm pretty sure they, the writers, let him do this to the main character because he's quote-unquote not really a girl, which doesn't excuse that crap. Now, here and now you may be like, wow, Ray, that's bad. Why would you ever think it's possible to make a CRP that's not a downright criminal or uncomfy? I don't, but also I do. This goes back to the word pervert is subjective. Based on my interpretation of a pervert, I don't think it's possible. Yeah, period this time. Because the way that I think we can write CRPs that don't make them uncomfortable to watch and actually likable might make them no longer fit the term of pervert for other people. So the answer is yes, we can make a character that is very focused on sexual attraction that isn't a straight up criminal. Will they still be a pervert? Maybe not, we'll see.
Alright, get lost, all of you. You're fired. Go on, scram. Get out of here, you moochers. That's right, keep moving. You know what? Yeah. Except you stay.
Okay, so perverts who aren't really my definition of pervert but can give off the non-creepy parts of the CRP trope have more depth to them as a character, they aren't solely used as a pervert, and they have their own goals and different character traits. Most importantly, they don't essay or snoop on people. One of my good CRP trope peeps is Muroku from Inuyasha. For the most part, he doesn't really touch up on people, and he's not constantly used as, oh my god, he's a pervert joke. And most of the times when he is being a quote-unquote pervert, it's usually just him using his monk position to flirt with women, or just flirting with women in general. So, not that bad. And he's not Mineta in any way. He has his own troubles, a character arc, and personality outside of being a perv. He does a good job at being comedic relief and doesn't rely on being disgusting to be funny. With characters like Miroku, you don't have to live with the dread of thinking, oh my god, who's he going to essay next? Zenitsu is another good example of the CRP trope. He doesn't essay anyone and doesn't invade anyone's privacy. Has so much more to his character than I'm just a perv.
That's the tea, honey. That is the vodka-infused tea, bitch.
Yucky.
No, I'm just kidding. With my definition of pervert, I don't think there's such thing as a lovable pervert, a redeemable pervert, a comedic relief pervert, no. Instead, I think there is a better term for CRPs that aren't necessarily perverts like Mineta and Hopposai. We should call them comedic relief. Period. Comedic relief periods are actually funny because they aren't characters that inherently, whether it was the writer's intentions or not, make light of essay situations. They're funny while they're flirting with people and while they're just being themselves. They have their own traits and don't rely on them being a pervert. If someone flirting a lot fits your definition of pervert in anime, then there you go, a CRP that isn't an uncomfortable character. If not, then, you know, there's no such thing as a lovable CRP. Sorry, not really, not in the slightest actually. Essay is not a joke nor funny, so turning that into a human isn't funny. If you have any examples of characters that you think fit the CRP trope that aren't creepy and uncomfy, feel free to comment them down below. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Since you're here, would you mind just clicking that like button down below? Maybe consider subscribing. I want to make more video essays, so if you liked my coverage on this topic, then feel free to comment some other things you might want me to cover in the future. I will see you next time. Bye-bye!